Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Drawing with Mr. Sepulveda. I'm Mr. Sepulveda, and on today's episode, I am drawing a student-requested picture of a Pikachu. If you saw the last episode, Annabelle was my winner. She asked me to draw an animal, and then she kind of changed her mind into wanting me to draw a Pikachu, so that's what I'm doing right here. First, I started off by trying to sketch out Annabelle in the Pokemon universe and try to figure out what that would look like. I kind of give her a generic Pokemon hat right there. And I'm trying to lay out and figure out where I want her to be positioned. Originally, when I was drawing this image, I wasn't thinking a full body picture because I felt like the focus should be on Pikachu. But as I went on with this image, I decided to make it a full body, just more or less to get myself out of my comfort zone. And I was using a few references of Pikachus and Ash Ketchum with Pikachu and even May from Pokemon to kind of help me out with figuring out how I could put Annabelle in here, my version of her in the Pokemon universe. There you saw a heart for Pikachu's tail because I wasn't sure if I was going to make her Pikachu a female, but I just went with the generic male Pikachu. So after I figure out what my sketch looks like, I go ahead and start putting in my line work. I'm starting it in red just because the pencil on bottom was already dark and I didn't want to get confused, so I started in red, and since I'm working digitally, I'll end up changing these lines to be black. And then as you notice, sometimes I don't always lay the lines over my sketches exactly where they are. I do try to make some changes as I go, like you saw there with the hips, the heels by her boots. I try to make necessary changes whenever possible. So here I'm using kind of like a grayish blue tone. I was originally going to go black, but I didn't want it to be too dark, so I went ahead and chose this tone for some of her accent colors in this picture. Here I am just kind of re-editing the simplistic Pokemon picture, or logo, the Pokeball logo. I end up needing a circle tool for that, just to kind of make it seem a little bit more, I guess, fine, or a little bit more smoother than what it was, less shaky for sure. I decided to give her a green jacket because of our school colors are green, so I decided to go along with that theme here. Okay, then I start trying to figure out her hair. I didn't want the bottom of the boots to be white, so I went ahead and accented that with green as well. Fixed up the Pokeball a little bit there. Put in some eyebrows. And then here I am coloring inside the mouth, giving her the white sclera parts and coloring her iris, and then giving a little shine or a white highlight to her eyeballs. Okay, so I'm lowering the opacity here so I can kind of figure out where to place Pikachu over her shoulder. So here I am just kind of messing around with opacity, and then I start going into the line work for Pikachu. I know a few of my students are big Pokemon fans. I know I grew up with this back in the 90s when it first came out when I was a kid. So drawing Pikachu was definitely a lot of fun for me. So here I am just trying to get his head shape right. Start punching in the black. Try to fix his ear a little bit so I can just use my select tool and just color him yellow like you just saw there in one fell swoop. there's the whites of the highlight. I'll start rounding out his face a little bit, but ultimately his head shape and everything was looking pretty good. I was just making last minute edits. I didn't think about a background necessarily when I first started. I thought I was actually going to be done there, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking, you know what, a background would definitely make this pop out. I was thinking rocks before, I was thinking a river before, and then I decided to scratch the whole background idea first for a moment, and I go into highlighting and then shading. So this is how I kind of did this for her, or for this character, and on Pikachu. Most of the time when I do highlighting and do shading, I just put them where I feel like it belongs. I don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of how lighting works with the rim lights and just like light bouncing off of other objects and stuff like that. I'm not that great with any of that yet, so everything I do is just more on instinct, more on what I feel looks right and appealing. So that's usually what I base most of my lighting and shading on. So I shrink down the image and then I try my luck again with another background. And that's just like a generic sketch with some hills and stuff like that. So I end up turning this, I originally think this should be a boulder to begin with, that blue area right here. And then I thought, you know what, it would be kind of cool if I just turned that into a sleeping Snorlax in the middle of a road. I don't know why I didn't stick with that idea. I ended up giving up on it. Just because I wasn't sure if she would know what Snorlax was, because just about anybody knows Pikachu's a Pokemon. You know, doesn't matter how old you are, you already know how iconic this Pokemon is. So here I am, just kind of scratching out that little hill shape, or what was supposed to be a Snorlax. I put the road in the far back. I'm messing around with the foreground, trying to figure out a tree. Up top, I do end up liking one tree on the front right, which I think is pretty cool. Put in my sky, put in my clouds, put in my light source, which now makes sense to the highlights that I gave to her and to Pikachu. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a little shadow, a little shade underneath her for depth, and a little shadow in that boulder in the back. And then I put some shading in the far background over there, and then some highlights over there that I'm gonna blur out and smudge out in the back. And then I thought, you know, if this is a Pokemon universe, we should have some Pokemon in the far background, and so I just drew some silhouettes of Pokemon in the far background. And I believe that's the last silhouette I do back there. So I signed it and I'm done. This is my finished product for Annabelle. Pokemon Trainer with a Pikachu with a cool background. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And if you feel like it, go ahead and share this with your friends. Guys, I will see you all next week.